Here's what nobody tells you. 90% of online business advice circulating in South Africa is just American content with the Rand sign swapped in. It assumes Stripe accounts, Amazon FBA warehouses in the US, and marketing budgets that start at RAR 15,000. Follow that playbook on RAR 5,000 and you're broke by week 2. What we're building today is different. A lean, locally grounded e-commerce operation, using platforms that South African shoppers genuinely use, stock you can go and buy this weekend, and just enough automation to stop the admin from consuming your life. By the end of this, you'll have a precise week-by-week spending plan for your RAR 5,000. Which platform to launch on first, where to find stock with real margins, how to handle the legal side for under $200, and exactly when to add automation so you're scaling instead of stalling. Let's get into it. The number one killer of new South African online sellers isn't competition, it's bad sequencing. They spend R2,000 on a Shopify store, R800 on a logo, and R500 on Facebook ads before they've sold a single unit. The float runs dry. They quit. Shopify's basic plan runs around $700 a month at current exchange rates. That's a perfectly reasonable cost when you're turning over R30,000 a month. On day one, it's just a recurring debit burning your capital before you've proved a single product works. The second killer is sourcing. A lot of new sellers try to import directly from Alibaba without understanding how South Africa's customs regime actually works. SARS charges 15% VAT on imports at point of entry, plus applicable import duties that can run between 10% and 30% depending on the category. On a RAR 3,000 Alibaba order, you could easily land a RAR 900 customs bill you never budgeted for. There goes your margin. The sellers who stick around get the sequence right. Platform first, stock second, branding third, automation fourth. It has nothing to do with how polished your Instagram looks. It has everything to do with whether cash is moving before your costs are compounding. Here's what that sequence actually looks like, starting with the single most important decision you'll make. For a RAR $5,000 starting budget in South Africa, you have 3 realistic launch options: Takealot Marketplace, Bob Shop, or Shopify. Each one is a different bet, and the wrong choice at this stage costs you weeks you can't get back. Takealot draws over 4 million unique visitors every month. You don't build that audience, it already exists. You list your products, buyers search and find you, you ship when orders arrive. The trade-off is referral fees, between 8% and 16% depending on the product category. On a RAR 199 item, A/Y, that's up to R32 off the top on every single sale. Bob Shop, formerly Bidorbuy, carries a smaller audience but meaningfully lower fees, and it suits niche, vintage, or refurbished goods better. If you're selling secondhand electronics or collectibles, Bob Shop is actually your smarter starting point. Shopify is the long game. Your brand, your customer data, full control over the buyer experience. But you're starting from zero traffic on day one. And that RAR $700 monthly fee is money far better deployed into stock that's already in front of 4 million active shoppers. The move for most RAR $5,000 starters is this: launch on Takealot first, get cash moving, validate 2 or 3 products, add Shopify at month 3, once your Takealot revenue is covering the monthly fee, before you've even opened your laptop. When you make that move, we've covered the free automation tools that make Shopify run lean, right here on this channel. But first, you need stock. And where you source it determines whether any of this actually works. Set aside R3,000 of your R5,000 for stock. The remaining R2,000 covers registration, packaging, and a buffer for your first month of courier costs. Your entire business lives or dies on what you buy with that R3,000. Makro is genuinely underrated for this. Their clearance aisles and bulk buy sections on electronics accessories, kitchenware, and stationery regularly sit at prices low enough to support 2.5 to 3x margins on Takealot. The method is simple. Walk in, check the clearance price, open Takealot on your phone, search the exact same item. If it's listed for double or more, buy everything on that shelf. The Chinese wholesale trading areas in Johannesburg CBD, around Commissioner Street and the surrounding blocks, are another serious source. You can land phone accessories, small kitchen gadgets, and personal care tools at wholesale prices that support 3x margins, even after Takealot's referral fee and courier costs come out. One category to prioritize in your first batch: accessories and small home products priced between $99 and $299. This is the sweet spot on Takealot. Buyers don't overthink a $149 phone stand or a $199 cable organizer. They just buy. High conversion, fast sell-through, predictable cash flow. Exactly what you need in month 1. Steer clear of branded electronics and licensed goods to start with. Counterfeiting complaints, warranty obligations, and return rates in those categories will drain your margin and your evenings. Start boring, start fast-moving, start profitable. Once stock is listed and orders are coming in, you need to run this operation without it running here. That's where automation makes a real difference, even at this early stage. You don't need our $2,000 worth of software subscriptions to run this efficiently. You need about 2 hours and the right free tools. And this is where the channel's core focus applies, even at a R5,000 starting scale. Start with the Takealot seller portal itself. It's free, it's built in, and most new sellers use about 20% of what it actually offers. The sales reports show sell-through by SKU. The inventory dashboard flags low stock alerts. Use these features fully before you spend a single rand on anything external. For inventory tracking, build a Google Sheets tracker. 1 tab for stock levels, 1 for daily sales velocity, 1 for reorder triggers. 2 hours to set up. You'll know you're about to run out of your best-selling product before Takealot's own system flags it, which means you reorder before you lose listing rank. For couriers, open accounts with both the Courier Guy and Fastway Aramex. The Courier Guy starts from around R65 for a 1 kg parcel. Aramex is often sharper on heavier shipments. Compare cost per kilogram for your typical package size and commit to whichever comes out cheaper. Both have straightforward online collection booking. For product photography on a zero budget, canvas-free tier, a white sheet of cardboard, and decent natural light. A clean, well-lit product shot will outperform a dark, cluttered one in Takealot search results every single time. When you graduate to Shopify, Flow for automation, de-essers for any dropshipping components, email sequences for repeat buyers. We've broken all of those tools down on this channel. But right now, lean operations at low cost is the mandate. And that includes keeping your legal setup just as lean. A lot of first-time sellers skip this step and then panic the moment Takealot requests a tax number during onboarding, or a wholesale supplier wants a company registration number before they'll discuss pricing. Do this up front. It costs under 200 ARD and takes less than a week. CIPC company registration for a private company, a Pty Ltd, runs under 200 ARD for an online application at cipc.co.za. If you want to test before committing, operating as a sole proprietor is free. No CIPC registration needed, you just trade under your own name. But a Pty Ltd protects your personal assets and gives wholesale suppliers a reason to take you seriously at the negotiating table. For your business banking, Capitec Business charges 5 ARD a month in account fees and 2 ARD per electronic transfer. FNB's Easy Business Account is another solid option with broader integrations. Both connect to PayFast, South Africa's most widely used payment gateway, and it integrates directly with Shopify when you're ready to make that move. On tax, you don't register for VAT until your annual turnover exceeds 1 million ARD, but register for income tax with SARS from the first week. It takes 20 minutes on e-filing at sars.gov.za. Keep every receipt from your first stock purchase. Those are legitimate business expenses that reduce your taxable income come assessment time. That's the entire legal setup, under 200 ARD to CIPC, a Capitec Business account, 20 minutes on e-filing. Done. Now every rand you make is properly accounted for. And now we need to talk about what you actually do with those rands, because this is the part most first-time sellers get completely wrong. This section separates the sellers who build a real income from the ones who just end up with a busy, exhausting hobby. The formula is uncomfortable if you're expecting quick payouts, but it's the only compounding mechanism that works at this scale. For the first 90 days, reinvest 80% of every rand of profit back into stock, not into ads, not into branding, into stock. Cash flow is the business right now. Everything else is decoration. Here's how the numbers look realistically. Your 3,000 ARD first batch, priced at a 3x markup, generates around 4,500 ARD in gross revenue at a 50% sell-through rate in month 1. Achievable for fast-moving accessories on Takealot. After the average 12% referral fee, roughly $65 per order in courier costs, and basic packaging, you're netting somewhere between 1,000 ARD and 1,400 ARD on that first batch. That's your proof of concept. Month 2. Reinvest 1,200 ARD back into stock. Your total buying power is now 4,200 ARD. You've also identified your top 2 or 3 SKUs, the products with the fastest sell-through and the widest margin. Double down on those. Cut the slow movers before they tie up your capital. Month 3, at around 20,000 ARD in monthly Takealot revenue, you can absorb that 700 ARD Shopify subscription. Now you build your own storefront, start capturing customer email addresses, and create a brand that doesn't depend entirely on Takealot's algorithm. This is the stage where you add the full automation layer: email flows, inventory triggers, customer segmentation. On Shopify's free tiers, those tools cost you almost nothing if you set them up correctly. By month 4, you're running a genuine e-commerce operation. Not because R5000 is a magic number, but because you sequenced every RAN deliberately. Stock before branding, proof before tools, cash flow before automation. The sellers who stall spend on the exciting stuff first. You didn't. And that discipline is worth far more than a bigger starting budget. R5000 isn't a limitation, it's a filter. It forces you to make every decision deliberately. Which platform, which product, which tool, instead of spending your way around the hard choices. Start on Takealot, source smart from Makro, or the Joburg CBD wholesale market. Keep the legal setup under R200. Reinvest 80% of profit for 90 days before you touch a rand for anything else. Do that, and you've built a business that funds its own growth. Next week, we're going deep on Takealot's seller analytics, specifically the data points that most sellers scroll straight past, that tell you exactly which products deserve more stock and which ones are quietly destroying your listing rank.